Two words, two different definitions. Handwriting expert. What does it mean? So interesting thing about those two words in the English language is the general public does not know the difference between a forensic handwriting expert and a psychology handwriting analyst. And they're really two separate fields, but Google Translate, like everybody generally translate them as, a person who is an expert in handwriting analysis, but that still doesn't define what kind of handwriting analysis. So handwriting analysis has two uses, one in psychology called psychology handwriting analysis, or sometimes called graphology. I don't like that word because there's a lot of nuance to it, kind of like medicine, Chinese medicine, Western medicine, a lot of differences. But the more important one is forensic document examiner. That's the exact phrase for the entire field of a human being that forensically examines documents, wills, testaments, checks, forgeries to determine the authenticity of the document. A subset of a forensic document examiner is someone that specializes and is trained in analyzing the person who wrote it. So the character is not relevant in forensics. It's the identity of the human. So think about forensic document examining as a fingerprint expert, a shoe expert, a blood expert, someone that you'd see on CSM Miami going, hey, this is the person, we've identified this human being. That's a forensic, that's the key word. You don't see the word forensic in any kind of psychology stuff. Maybe forensic psychologists, but we're talking about the forensics in the courtroom, that kind of stuff. What you do see is psychologists that give an opinion of whether somebody's, insane or not. Most people that study psychology through handwriting use it for employee screening, psychological assessments of like therapy and counseling. And a lot of people, like I did, just use it for themselves when they're young, like, hey, I want to improve my self-esteem. I want to see how I can improve my relationships. I want to see, I want a personality test. So I think the Myers-Briggs, the personality test, that's sort of where the psychology comes in. But the average person does not know the difference. So if you meet someone who says, I analyze handwriting, you're going to think, oh my God, look at my handwriting and tell me if I'm crazy. And some people can do that if they study the psychological side. What's weird about this industry is the people that are in the forensic side hardly ever even read books about the psychology side. And the people that are on the psychology side hardly ever read books about the forensics. And I think that's a shame because they're both very useful. And it all goes back to the neural pathways. So the neural pathways of the hand are so remarkable that it's not even handwriting. It's brain writing. So if you think about handwriting, and especially as people get old, their handwriting begins to disintegrate. It gets shaky, right? If people get Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, the handwriting gets shaky because it relates to the degeneration of the brain. So if the handwriting is a proven science precursor for Parkinson's, it makes sense that there might be some indicator of personality, of expressiveness, of introversion, of extroversion. Something must be up that would give some clue to the person's general character. And that's what that entire discipline was about. I guess it started almost 400 years ago in Spain. I think Camille Baldi wrote the first book in 1662. Now, all those old books are kind of not that useful. A lot of the Gestalt is not that useful for an average person. But if you're a psychologist, every tool in your tool belt to understand your client is useful. So I am an expert in both of those fields, and I've trained and certified in both of those fields. But it's interesting that most people don't know the difference. So let me tell you how this video affects you. If you have somebody that has passed away or somebody suing you, and there's a document in play that you didn't sign, or that someone's accusing you of didn't sign it, that's identity. That means that's a forensic document examiner. You need to hire somebody that's court qualified to help you solve that problem and then go to court and show evidence. However, if you don't have a legal problem right now and identity is not an issue, what you're curious about is, hey, I'm dating this person, or I'm going to hire this person, or this is my ex-wife. I'd be curious to find out what was going on in their head. Are they a stable person? That's when you would seek out somebody that's certified in psychology or a handwriting analyst. And so people at Handwriting University, if they're certified, they're very good at looking at handwriting and determining, what strengths and weaknesses and insecurities and personality stuff. And then those that went to the International School of Forensic Document Examination, those people are making $100,000 a year or more helping attorneys solve $1 million forgery problems. So that's the big difference. And I happen to be expert at both, which is unusual. Most people are one or the other. And it's been a really fun ride having that expertise. I know that when I'm out in public and they find out what I do, they're like, oh my God, that's fascinating. You analyze handwriting. And they immediately go to like, oh, look at my handwriting, am I crazy? I'm like, oh, you're not crazy, you're sensitive, whatever. But most people are just loving the ideas because people love true crime. So I can't believe you get to work in the courts and go interview criminals and you get to, go testify in court. That's the forensic side. So there's really two different trainings. They both take years to sort of get a mastery of, and they're different. So if you want to learn more about either one of those, two different websites, two different entire psychologies, entire search algorithms. But when you do search handwriting expert, you're going to get a mix. Maybe Grok and maybe AI can differentiate it. But if you type forensic document examination training versus I want to learn how to analyze handwriting, or what does a handwriting say about me, you're going to get a whole different stuff like in the psychology side. So that's our biggest common problem, especially with advertising, is people are looking for a handwriting analyst, but they don't know what kind. My name is Bart Baggett. If you need help in either one of those fields, reach out to one of our offices. The website's right here. Like and subscribe. This channel includes and always talks about things related to handwriting, psychology, forensics, fraud, anything to do with the neural pathways of the brain as they come through the hands. Thanks for watching.